Okay, so what is one of the hardest things about starting a business that nobody really talks about? I would say it's the identity shift. So let me just break that down really briefly for you in this video. When you're working a normal job and you're expected to do certain tasks, that's fine and you're used to it. When you become an entrepreneur, nobody's yelling at you except for yourself. Ideally, if you do have somebody yelling at you in your head telling you to do stuff, that's actually a great thing. It's that little entrepreneurial bug that's in you that's saying, hey, be an overachiever, do your best, try your hardest. You're not going hard enough. You need to just give it your absolute all and rip and tear into that objective and that task and that goal. And that's amazing. But there's a huge identity shift that occurs when you are a full-time entrepreneur and all your attention and your focus is on that. And when I talk about an identity shift, I'm speaking of the way that you feel about yourself and the way that you perceive yourself and that you think about the things that you have to do. So when I say that, I can describe it as when you are looking at your schedule throughout your day, or you say, I don't know, it's 6 o'clock, right? Like right now, let's put in the real world example. It's 4:15 right now, okay? Right now it is 4:15 on December 3rd, okay? And 4:15 p.m., I better have done a bunch of stuff earlier this day. And I did. I did a lot of good stuff throughout the day. But one thing I will say is that if I hadn't, I would be approaching I don't want to say second half, but the last portion of my day, the 4:30 to, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 o'clock, that would be looked at realistically, if I did not have a productive start of the day, that would be looked at with immense anxiety. And it would make a huge impact on how I feel and the things I would do and, how I talk to certain people, right? And it's one thing that I really don't want to be this way, and I do think I'm actually getting better at it, but at least I know I used to do this all the time, every day, 100%, because I was very inconsistent. But I would talk to somebody differently at 6 o'clock or at 7 or 8 o'clock at the end of the day. I would talk to them differently that day when I did tons of work than how I talked to somebody when I didn't really do much work that day, or I was on my phone a lot, or I just had a lot of terrible discussions, or I had to learn a lot of hard things that I really didn't want to learn, and it just drained me emotionally and mentally, right? I would talk to people differently when I had a different type of day. And that's not the type of instability that I want as a business owner. I don't want that. So that being said, there's a huge identity shift that takes place when you're a small business owner, or when you're, creating your startup or just doing your thing, trying to achieve that goal. For me specifically, it is a successful business owner for a multitude of reasons. But the identity shift that occurs is a huge, it's the biggest thing in my opinion over money, over time, over, I don't know, I don't want to say I've already some money, but like the rewards that come from, the small wins. Like one thing that overrules all this change is the identity shift. So that's one thing to keep in mind and make sure that you're very attentive to, right? And you're taking care of yourself, because you want to wake up in the morning and not be mad at yourself when you go to bed. That should be your goal. When you wake up, you make sure you are damn happy with yourself when you get to bed. Because guess what? It's an extremely, and you may already know this, I'm just speaking from experience and what's worked for me. It's an extremely dangerous, hard, shitty place to be when you're in bed and you can't stand what you did that day, you can't stand yourself, you don't want to have to wake up the next day, and you just have this instant urge to get out of bed and start doing things, and after like 23 minutes, you're exhausted, and you just feel terrible. It's an awful feeling, and I've had it too many times. I don't want anybody else to feel it. I'm trying to give a tiny bit of perspective. But that's something that has really helped me and changed me a little bit throughout realizing that I am a small business owner and this is the real deal and this is the time. A huge identity shift that occurs. So that's all for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment. And if you like it, feel free to like the video. It doesn't make a huge difference to me, but if you do want to see more of these types of videos and it does resonate with you in some way, you can subscribe and I will continue to put out these types of videos. So thank you very much. I hope you guys have a great day. Bye-bye.